Hello, everybody. Welcome to the In Practice this week. Today, we'll be focusing on the spleen and the stomach lines. Before we start the practice, there are a number of props that you might need today to better support you in the poses. They are not compulsory. It would be good to have some substitute if you know that you are especially tight in certain part of the body. So when we work on the spleen and the stomach lines, we are basically working the front of our body, mainly the quadricep, and we are also working on the inner thighs. The inner thighs where the spleen lines runs, and the stomach lines mainly run at the front of the body, which is the torso, the thighs. Okay, so the very typical poses we're going to do, of course, is the dragon poses that target the thigh. We might also be doing saddle pose. Saddle pose is the pose where we bend our knees in the internal rotation manner and we lean backwards. So if you know that you're especially tight in the knees or the quadricep, you might need a bolster or any substitute that allow you to lean back. And as we're working on the dragon pose, and if you know that your knees are a bit sensitive, you might need a cushion or some towel to pad the knees so that you are relatively comfortable in the dragon poses. Okay, so without further ado, since we are going to start with the front of our body, nothing is the best pose than kneeling, okay, to start the meditation practice. So I invite you, I'm going to show you the side. So I invite you to come to kneeling. We are already compressing the front of our ankle and the shin, the lower segment of our legs, in this kneeling position. So if you're uncomfortable, get a towel to shove it through this ankle. So if you are in this position whereby the ankle are not directly flush with the floor, get a towel to move it around the ankle to better support it. But if you can rest comfortably on the ankle, please do so. Spread the front of the ankle, lift your butt cheeks, have the sitting bone on the heel, lengthen the spine, broaden the shoulders, rest the palm on the front of the thighs, or you can interlace the fingers and have them in front of your groin. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the spine, maybe look forward, and just sense where you are at this moment, relaxing the physical body without being in a hurry to close your eyes. You only close your eyes at the last stage whereby you're comfortable in this kneeling position. You can settle the physical body, getting ready for the practice before you allow the eyelid to get heavier and heavier before closing the eyes. Now I would like you to bring awareness to your shin and the front of the ankle. And you start to feel where are you creating the pressure. You might notice that you can adjust the position of the pressure points along the front of the shin and the ankle by slightly adjusting your upper body. Can you adjust the shoulders to be directly stacking on top of the sitting bone and the sitting bone directly on top of your ankle? And you start to feel a stronger pressure at the front of the ankle. So the pressure is not so much on the knees, they are on top of the ankle. And that's the point where if you feel sharp pain or great discomfort, you should be rolling a towel and putting it in front of the ankle. This is important so that you can create the pressure and yet not hurting yourself and getting yourself extremely uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable you are, the higher tendency that you will fidget and not feel settled. You want to feel grounded and settled in the first grounding and centering part of the practice. Take a few moments. You start to get connected with the physical body. You sense the target area, the compression and tension you are experiencing in this kneeling position. You start to be more conscious with the breath. Without controlling the breath, breathe normally. Inhale and exhale, and feel how the body settles in your exhale breath. And while settling into that kneeling pose, I would like you to bring awareness slowly to your heart center, the center point of your upper torso. Our heart is the place where intellect, emotions, and some people call the spirit converge into the human self. Many a time we criticize ourselves in so many ways that our entire world exists within this bubble we have created for ourselves. We hold ourselves to a high standard of perfection, and when that standard fails to meet, we replay the same words over and over again in our mind. So in this practice today, there might be poses that are challenging to some, like the dragon or the saddle, or it can be extremely easy for some. At whatever stage you are in the practice, please embrace who you are with less judgment and enjoy your in-practice with an open heart. Think of letting go and surrendering to Mother Earth and let be the experience. Couple more breaths. Gently place the palms together in front of your heart center. If you'd like to set an intention for today's practice, go ahead and do so. You might bring someone you have in mind in front of you or a group of people that you would like to dedicate this good energy, this good practice to them, sending a blessing to these people. Gently rub the palms together to create some peace. Place the palm over your eyes. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, gently move the palm away. Gently open your eyes. Namaste. So since the target area is the front of the body, especially the front of the ankle, we're going to continue to compress at the front of the ankle. If you're already feeling numb and great discomfort, feel free to come out from the pose, rotate the ankle a few times before you join us back into this pose. So we're going to compress the ankle in this kneeling pose. You can continue to go back to kneeling if the pressure is great for you, or you can start to lean the body backward to create some weight onto the ankle. So you must notice that the pressure on the ankle indeed increases as you lean the body back. You are not just leaning the body back for the sake of leaning. The purpose of doing that is to create an increased pressure at the front of the ankle. Relax your toes. And if you can go even further, feel free to lift the knee up slightly, or can be a lot depending on how comfortable you are. And by doing so with the same objective, you are creating greater pressure on the ankle. If that's too much for you, go back to the previous stage you are in. There is no need to push yourself. Embrace the practice at any stage you are in right now. Or if you can, without support of the palm, you can even lift the palm off the ground and rest the palm on top of the thigh. So there are many stages you can go into this knee compression: a normal Japanese kneel, leaning the body back, resting the knees on the floor, or you can lift the knees off the mat. Then the last stage, you can lift the palms off the mat and rest it onto the thigh. Okay. So choose a comfortable ankle compression. We're going to stay here for about 3 minutes, and the purpose is not to break the ankle. The purpose is to create an appropriate stress on the ankle to start stressing the front of our body lines. At the front of the ankle, there is actually a pulse. And in Mandarin Chinese traditional medicine, that is called the Fu Yang Man. That is the pulse, one of the 3 main pulses in our body that the Chinese physician can take, but you usually don't see it nowadays. But in the older days, there are 3 main pulses the physician can take to ascertain the state of the health. The first most common one is on your wrist, definitely. That's the one of the main pulse. The second pulse is just below the neck, and this is where it's very common. And the third pulse is actually just in front of the ankle at this point, where you can feel a slight pulsation. So that is where we are compressing, and that is the pulse directly related to our stomach line. We are at half time, about 1.5 minutes. If you are already feeling strong pressure and great discomfort, feel free to just sit down, rest, rotate the ankle, straighten your legs, release the pressure on the knee. Okay, so just be gentle. Our state of the knees are at different state, different health condition, so do not over compress the knee. I shall keep quiet for the last minute for you to just dwell deeper into the practice. About 3 to 5 more breaths. If you are still in the pose, start to deepen your breath, getting the body ready to transit out from that CSR or the Japanese kneel pose. For those who are in the more advanced stages, slowly place the palm down and lower your knee down. Take your time. Your ankle are under long compression by now. Slowly take your time, tuck the toe. Move your butt to the side, release, and then gently rotate the ankle. Take your time. You might not want to rotate the ankle straight away. Some people would like to just chill, relax the legs. Just feel the sensation running along the shin and the front of the ankle, this rebound sensation, the sensation that you have created for yourself in this pose. And when you know that the time is right, you slowly initiate slow rotation of the ankle. Toes and ankles are very important joints in our body, but unfortunately, they are seldom stressed. Okay, we work a lot on the hamstring, the muscle, the hip in most yoga classes, but very seldom we work the ankle and the toes. And to me, these are very important joints. They are usually targeted in the in practice. They're uncomfortable. They can be a little bit vulnerable, but do it in an appropriate depth so that you are not injuring yourself by giving it the appropriate stress that's required to keep it mobile. So after stressing the ankle, we're going to the toes. Okay, so start to move the toes, scrunch, release, just move the toes. And we come to a tuck toe practice. So a tuck toe is also a rebound and release pose for the ankle after compressing it for a long time. So we are coming to a wide-legged tuck toe. So you can have the toes together. You can have the toes together. Have the knees as wide as you can. And you adjust the toes so that you have the weight just below your big toe mount. Okay, so I'm going to show you in front. You have the knees as wide as you can. If this is too much for you, feel free to take a bolster or even blocks and you rest the knees on top of it. This might release some pressure. So as you can see, now you're compressing the ankle in a different state. Just now we are stretching the front of the ankle. Now we are compressing the bones. So for those who have joined us last week, I have shared that in the HIIT practice, we activate or stimulate the qi flow along the meridian line through two ways. One is by stressing it in a tensile manner, stretching. The other way is by compression. So both compression and stretching stimulate the qi flow along the meridian lines. So this might be easier or more challenging for you as compared to the first one, or equally bad, doesn't matter. Lift the chin up, relax the shoulders, and rest the palm down. And you start to close your eyes and you feel, where are you feeling in this pose? Where are you getting the pressure? Then you start to adjust the position of your torso so that you are not leaning too much forward or backward. You start to feel your toes. You might feel some stretches at the base of your feet, the fascia lines. So we are only going to hold this pose for about 3 minutes. Anytime, if it's too much for you, please come out from the pose. Friends who have this big protrusion at the base of your big toe called the bunion, it might be extremely painful for you. So if it is extremely painful for you, pad as much as you need or come out earlier to rest. There is no need to hold for the entire 3 minutes in this pose. 3 more breaths. Slowly lean the body forward and transit yourself out from the pose. Be careful. Okay, sit down, straighten your legs, and just feel the sensation around your toe as you sit and relax. Sometimes by not moving immediately after the pose, give you a different sensation. You might feel the tingling sensation. And after a while, when the tingling and the rebound sensations start to disappear, you start to move, maybe rotate the ankle again. It is still a compression on the front of the ankle, although you don't feel it as much compared to the kneeling pose. Now you feel it more in the toes. So you slowly move the toes up and down, rotate the ankle, and just to regain back some mobility of the ankle and the toes. Okay. Slowly come out from the pose. So the next pose we are going to is to do a wide-legged child's pose with a twist. So we're going to stay in this pose for quite some time. Okay, so for those who have great discomfort on the ankle, please do so. You get something to support the ankle, like what I'm doing right now. Or you can just get a towel to do that. Okay, so if you are totally comfortable resting on the floor for the whole duration, feel free to do so. We're going to do each side about 5 minutes, so you'll be compressing the ankle for as long as about 10 minutes. So it can be a little bit strong for some people. So have the knee as wide as you can, have the front of the ankle supported if you need to on a cushion, on a rug, okay? And then you lean forward. You first rest the right outer shoulders along the center line. You draw a center line. You thread your arms across and you rest it along the center line. First at the center line, like what I'm doing right now. Now focus on the left knee. So right shoulder, left knee. So now with the help of the left palm, you push and you move the right armpit towards the left knee. So you can see that I'm moving closer to you. I'm resting my right outer shoulder in front of the left knee. And if you can rest the head, go ahead and do so. If you can't, grab a block and rest the head on the block. Okay, so slowly make your way there. There's no hurry. Slowly make your way to this pose. Make sure you're comfortable. Anytime, if your knees are screaming at you or the ankle, come out from the pose, move. The knees and the ankle before going back to the pose again. So the two main areas I need to focus on. The first is continue that pressure at the front of your ankle. And secondly, a spinal twist and a compression of your middle segment of your torso. That's where your stomach, intestines are. So remember, the key thing is that you must feel that you are twisting with your right outer shoulder near to your left knee. It's okay if you can't touch the outer shoulders to the left knee, but your outer shoulder shouldn't be along the middle line. And if that's the case, you are not twisting, there's not much compression of one side of your middle torso. So you must be off center, the right shoulder slightly towards the left knee as close as possible. Support the side of your head on the block if they are not resting on the floor. And start staying there for a few breaths. If your mind has started to wander, bring the mind back to the body. Scan around the body one more time to see where you're feeling the pressure. And by now, you should start to feel a slight strain along your inner thighs. The groin area is the purpose of the wide-legged child's pose. So I'm going to run through a few target areas. You might get all, you might get some. You feel pressure on the front of the ankle, the inner thigh, the groin, a slight compression of your abdominal area, which makes breathing a little bit more challenging because part of your lungs is being compressed. So you might want to slow down the breath or pay more attention to how you are breathing. And if you keep moving up the body, you will feel a slight compression at the right outer shoulders and perhaps the side of the neck because you are leaning your head towards one side. You work the outer shoulders and the outer arms along with the stomach, spleen. Although they are not the lines, the pathway of the spleen and the stomach lines, but the outer arms and the shoulders, they are the pathway of another important part of our digestive system. They are the small and large intestine lines. The small and large intestine lines, they run along the outer shoulders, the outer arms, where you are feeling the slight stress or the compression against the floor. Just one more breath. Take your time, slowly move yourself back to the center, your shoulders slowly, and you first come out from the pose. We are not going to go straight to the next side. You come out from the pose. I'm going to take a quick rebound. You slowly straighten your legs, release the compression of the knee. Healthy compression is good. Over compression that gives pain is not good. And you can choose to just chill with the palms at the back and just close your eyes and rest. You can rotate the ankle. You can windshield wiper your legs this way, or you can just straighten your legs, lie down and rest. We're going to rest for about 30 seconds. We held the wide-legged child's pose for quite some time. It's hard work. So hard work doesn't just mean that you're pumping your heart very hard or you're sweating a lot. Hard work can derive from stillness. It takes much more effort, to me at least, to stay still than to move rigorously. Just tune into the sensation from that wide-legged child's pose towards the right. With one or two more breaths, we are going to transit to the left side. So as and when you are ready, feel free to take the rebound slightly longer. If you're lying down, slowly roll to a side and come out. Come back to the wide-legged kneeling again. Make sure that the knees are wide enough for you to feel the groin. Okay, your butt should be on. Take a block, getting the block ready in case you need to rest the block onto the side of the head. Look for the middle line again. This is the middle line where you thread your left arm underneath and you first rest the outer shoulder on the middle line. Just rest on the middle line, go down. You are not compressing the stomach as much yet because your left shoulder is on the middle line. Now, with the help of the right palm, you lift the left shoulder up and you shift the left shoulder towards the right knee. How much it goes depends on the body. You don't need to push all the way. As long as you are really moving the left shoulders towards the right knee, you are already doing an asymmetrical movement to compress a side of the middle torso, and you might create a deeper stretch on a side of the inner groin. In this time, on this side, you feel a slight strain, perhaps on the left inner thigh. Rest the head so that they are not overly strained, the neck. Always check the pressure on the knees to make sure that you are not hurting yourself. The compression is visible and yet not too much. See if you can release the grip of your groin. Relax your back. And feel how the body is responding to your in-breath and out-breath. The subtle press of the belly against the right inner thigh, if you're close enough. And start to enjoy this breath-body connection. And once your mind is fully on this breath-body connection and not distracted by anything else, you're practicing mindfulness. You're practicing this greater awareness of the right here, right now. We have about 45 more seconds to go. Feel free to continue to hold the pose or deepen it. But if you feel that you have enough, you feel great discomfort on the knees or the ankle, please come out from the pose, straighten your legs, release the knees, perhaps stay still for a while to feel the recoil, and take a longer reverse while we allow the rest to hold the entire 5 minutes. Just 2 more breaths for the rest who are still in the pose. So those who are still in the pose, very slowly move yourself back to the center. Allow yourself to come up from the pose, straighten your knees, stay. Either rotate the ankle, bend your knees, drop to one side, windshield wiper, or you can lie down and just enjoy the whole recoil. No hurry. A few more breaths. Okay, so if you are lying down, continue to lie down. For those who are seated, please lie down. And we're coming to a relatively more relaxing pose. Could continue to target the inner thigh without any pressure on the ankle and the knees anymore. So you hug your knees towards your chest, elbow inside of the knees, and you hold on to the outer feet. And we are in a happy baby pose. So I'm going to provide a few options. If you are comfortable with the happy baby, go ahead. You do not need to come out to look at me. So come on to happy baby pose with the feet towards the ceiling. Or you can relax your feet so that you are in a pose quite similar to butterfly because the heels are together. Or if you have a wall near you, you can come on to a wall-supported happy baby. So the wall-supported happy baby is very simple. You sit near the wall. And you have your feet wide aside, like you are squatting on the wall. And you just rest the palm on the inner knees or the thigh. So there are 3 variations, either happy baby in the middle of the mat with the sole of the feet pointing towards the ceiling, or you are holding on to your feet with the ankle towards your butt. Last but not least, you can choose this variation, happy baby on the wall with your feet still wide apart. You do not have the feet closed. You are still taking the shape of the happy baby, but instead of holding on the feet with your palms, you are allowing the wall to support your feet by stepping onto the feet flat. And you allow the knees to drop. So I'm going to stay here. The target area is very obvious. It is the inner thigh with no more pressure on the knees and the ankle. You can rest the palm on the belly if you are not using the palm, and stay there. Relax the groin. For those who are in the middle of the mat, with the feet towards the ceiling, feel free to lower your heel towards the butt if you are feeling too much strain and that pose is too overpowering. And for friends who are holding on to your feet in whatever variation you are in the middle of the mat, by now you should be able to feel this slight pulsation at the front of the ankle. That pulsation, that pulse at the front of your ankle is that Fu Yang Mai I was talking about previously, which we were trying to compress in the kneeling pose at the start of the class. Enjoy this body connection, feeling the pulse at the front of the ankle. For those who are using the wall, you might not be feeling or touching the front of the ankle, it doesn't matter. Feel a greater relaxation of the groin and the glutes because you no longer need to hold the feet up towards the ceiling. If you're holding on to the feet, the pose can be a little bit strenuous for the shoulders, and you are feeling the strain on the shoulders. Either drop the heel towards the butt, or you can release the pose, straighten your legs to rest for a moment before coming back to the happy baby pose. For those on the wall, you have no problem. Go all the way out to relax the groin and the legs. The wall will support you regardlessly. One more breath. So if you're in the middle of the mat, slowly release the legs, straighten your legs, and just feel the rebound. So rebound should be pretty strong. We held the pose for 5 minutes or more. For those on the wall, slowly support the outer side of the knees, close the knees together. Continue to have both of feet on the wall with your knees together. And then slowly straighten your legs and rest the heel on the wall. Just spend some time to the rebounds. Wherever you are, hug the knees together towards the chest. Compress the sacrum. So while you are pressing the thighs against the belly, create a force by gripping opposite elbow if you can. If not, just crush the shin towards the belly, thigh against the belly, and you're flattening your butt and the sacrum on the floor. So do not round your sacrum, have it flattened, and have the thigh against the belly. Just hold there for a few breaths. Relax the pelvic floor. With each inhale and exhale, feel the compression of the belly against the thigh. Do not grip the butt, release the butt and the pelvic floor. We allow the breath to massage the internal organs with this compression against the thigh. And then slowly roll over to one side before pushing yourself out from the pose. One more time. And slowly come out from the pose. Is everyone ready for the dragon pose? So we are going to work towards the front of the thigh now. So we have worked the front of the ankle, the knees with all the compression. We have worked quite a bit on the inner thigh, even if you have not realized. The wide-legged tuck toe, the wide-legged child's pose, and the happy baby all work the inner thighs. And now we are going to work the front of the thigh, the stomach lines, and also the front of the body in the dragon and the saddle pose. Okay, so if you need a cushion or whatever, a soft padding for the knees, go ahead and get them ready. You might want to have a bolster nearby in case you need the bolster for the saddle pose. Okay, so set up for the dragon pose. We will start by stepping the right foot in between the palm. So you come onto all fours, and then you step the right foot in between the palm. Adjust the padding so that everyone can see. Adjust the padding so that the front of the shin is on it. Rest the belly. You can rest the palm on the mat, fingertips, or you can have blocks to help support it. So make yourself comfortable in this dragon. The dragon is the classic pose for spleen and stomach. So we are not just going to stay here and go very quickly. We are going to stay in this pose and marinate in it for a while. So don't go too deep too quickly. Give yourself time to adjust into the dragon pose. Make yourself comfortable, at least with some padding, so that you can focus on the target area rather than the pain or the discomfort created by the pose. The target area for this pose is obvious. Front of the left quadricep, front of the left thigh, which is the quadricep muscle. Allow the hip to sink. So in practice, we relax the target area as much as we can. So in this case, the target area is the hip, the groin, the thighs. So you allow the lower body to sink. And if you're not feeling much, maybe that's a sign for you to move the left knee slightly towards the back more. Or you can rest the palm on top of the knees and you come on to a high dragon variation where your torso is upright. That will definitely create more stress on the target area, which is the front of the left thigh. But it also creates greater pressure on the left knee. So if you have some knee issue, you might not want to come to high dragon. We have 5 more breaths. With each exhale breath, see if you can sink the hip a little bit more. Loosen some of the tension, grips of the lower body. 1 more breath. Slowly. The next time you inhale, make your way out from the dragon pose. Have both of your palms back onto the floor. Stabilize the body again. And start moving the hip forward and backward, forward and backward. Take your time. No hurry. And with stressing the front of the left thigh, we are going to transit to the standard pose. Okay, so what you're going to do is you slowly move your butt towards the back and you sit inside of the left hip. We have not done saddle pose for quite some time. So saddle and dragon is a little, or rather, a good combination for the stomach and spleen. Okay, so make sure you are able to sit upright. If you are not able to do so, please sit on the block. You should not be lopsided. Both of your butt cheeks should be on the floor. No pain on the left knee. Your right leg is straightened. You might need a bolster at the back if you need. If you don't need, then feel free to just lie flat onto the ground. Take your time. We are going to marinate in this saddle pose for about 5 minutes. Okay, so no hurry. Take your time to get comfortable, explore, play with the props. That's the benefit of practicing at home. You have all what you need at your own pace. Nobody is hurrying you. You can come out from the pose earlier if you're not feeling great in the pose. So for those who are feeling too strong a back bend, feel free to rest on the bolster to take some back bend away from this reclined saddle. For those who could lie all the way back to the floor, you want to get stronger stress on the front of the left quadricep. Feel free to bend the right knee, step the right foot on the floor. You can hug the right knee towards the chest. Or for some, you can even straighten your right leg with the foot facing the ceiling and take a strap over the right foot and hold on to the strap. So there is no need to do too much too fast. You have plenty of time. Don't let the final display of the perfect pose cloud your intention. Your intention is to be able to rest, relax, and stress the necessary area to create or stimulate the qi to nourish the stomach and the spleen. The organs that corresponds to the earth element. Organs that are giving, grounding, last week when we were working on the liver and the gallbladder, we talked about anger as the emotion that are being stored in these organs. This week, when we are working on the spleen and stomach, the emotions that is being stored in these organs is worrying. We work too much on the brain and we start to worry too much unnecessarily over things that bother or don't really bother us, especially in this period of COVID. We start to get worried, uneasy, our mind start to get a little bit apprehensive. Worry is the emotion that will get accumulated in the spleen and the stomach organs. And when we worry too much, we lose our appetite. Food doesn't get digested too well, and it leads to a series of diseases in the gut or symptoms that are related to the gut. So if you know that you are working too hard at work, your mind is constantly at work even when you are resting or sleeping, do a couple of stomach and spleen poses. And one of the restful one is this pose, a saddle pose. You are able to rest, recline. You are able to stress the front of the body, which is the stomach line, the front of the thigh. You continue to compress the front of the ankle. Again, you notice the poses are always repeating to target the front of the body. And while you are lying flat down, you feel a passive stress along the front of your abdominal area, a broadening of your chest, shoulders, and that is the frontal fascia lines, the stomach lines. We have few more breaths. For those who are in a more advanced variation, like hugging the right knee or with the right foot towards the ceiling, slowly release the right leg so that your right leg is straightened onto the floor. To join everyone back to the half saddle, take an inhale, slightly constrict the abdominal muscle. Once you constrict the abdominal muscle, you stabilize the lower back to slowly roll towards the right, or you can push yourself up to you, and slowly straighten the left knee. And lie back down, either on the bolster or on the floor. Relax both of your legs. Feel the sudden release of the pressure point. You will definitely feel at the knees, the ankle. If you're uncomfortable on the bolster, having the back bend for too long, roll to a side, push the bolster away so that you can be lying flat onto the ground. Feel the front of the legs. And if you have practiced in for a period of time, most of you today online have been practicing in for a long time, you should be able to, by now, get sensitive to where are the rebounds area. The rebounds you get last week, where we worked with the gallbladder at the side body, should be pretty different from today's rebounds, which is mainly the front of our legs, the front of the ankle, knees, thigh. One more breath. Bend both of your knees, hip or mat width distance apart, and drop both knees left and right, left and right. We're doing windshield wiper while lying down. Move your hip a little bit. Get it moving a little before we come out to dragon onto the other side. So your hip would like it for you to move a little bit before we come to stillness in a rather challenging dragon pose. Roll to one side. Slowly come out. Set up whatever you need. So for this side, I will just keep time for you and not bother you with all my talking, because whatever I need to say and tell you have been done on the other side. So on this side, right knee down, left foot forward. Get the bolster ready for the half saddle. And then I will keep tying. Feel free to come out from the pose or deepen the pose if you don't feel much on the target. Dragon pose, target area, right quadricep. We have about 5 to 6 more breaths to go. Always know that you have the option to come out from the pose earlier. Three more breaths. Slowly deepen the breath to prepare the body to come out from the pose. If you are in a high dragon, slowly lower down the upper body to rest both of your palms on the floor. The next time you inhale, start to move the butt slowly forward and backward to come out from the pose. Take your time. Be gentle to the rebounds. The rebounds is still part of the pose. Slowly push the butt back so that you are sitting inside of the right heel. Straighten your left leg. Adjust whatever you need. If you are not sitting with both of your butt on the floor, you should know what you need to do. Sit on the block to elevate your sitting bone. Feel free to lie down flat on the mat, or you're using a bolster. Just note that the bent knee need not be pointing directly in front. Okay, feel free to have the bent knee at an angle. Enjoy the half saddle pose. Go to appropriate depth where you feel something and yet not overpowering, so that you can rest. But you are not resting so much that you are falling asleep. You are in a comfortable state whereby the mind can be restful and yet alert. You are using the mind to scan the body, picking up habitual tension you are holding on to the body, and see if you can release those tensions. Or the mind can be paying attention to how an area which was tight at the start of the pose slowly give way as you start to relax into the arms. Noticing the changes in the body. Keep the mind anchored and not floating around to dullness where you are sleeping, or over-energized where you are thinking too hard or fantasizing. So you keep your mind occupied with right here, right now, that is happening to the body. For those who are more flexible and you are flat on the ground, feel free to explore the variation on the left leg to deepen the stretch on the right quadricep. You can bend the left knee, place the left foot on the floor, hug the left knee towards the chest, or straighten your left foot towards the ceiling and holding on to it with a strap. We have about 3 more breaths. For those who are holding on to the left leg, slowly release so that your left leg can be straightened back onto the floor. With the next inhale, slightly grip your belly, everyone. Roll towards the left, the straightened leg, and then slowly straighten your right leg. If you're lying on the bolster, push the bolster away so that you are lying flat onto the ground. Take some time to position yourself back onto the floor. Have your feet about hip distance apart. If there are props around you, just push them aside. Shoulder blade fully rested on the floor, arms alongside the body, palm facing up. Take some time to feel the front of the body, the ankle, the knees, but without letting the mind fall down. The mind is still scanning the body, noticing the subtle changes with each exhale breath. Slowly deepen your in-breath and your out-breath. Move your fingers, move your toes. Hug the knees towards the chest. Hold on to your shin or your knees and gently rotate the ankle to free off whatever pressure or tension you're holding. We compress the ankle quite a bit in today's practice in almost all the poses, if you recall, from kneeling to child's pose, dragon, saddle. The front of our body is the target today. Change the rotation direction. Gently roll to one side. Allow this coming out process be as slowly and as mindfully as possible. Do not rush out from the pose. Press on the floor, slowly bring yourself back to any comfortable sit-up position. Find your sitting bone again by pulling the butt towards the side. Ground the sitting bone. Rest the palm down on the thigh. Lengthen the spine, open the shoulder. Think of that openness in the chest and the shoulder when you were rested on the bolster or that reclined saddle. Keep that broadening sensation on the chest. Very gently press the palms together in front of your heart center. Pause for a moment. Get connected back to the intention that you have set for the practice today. Bring that person or the group of people in front of you. Sending love, well wishes and blessing to these people that needs them in this period of trying times. Gently rub the palms together in front of you, creating some heat. Press the palm deep into your eyes, soften, feeling the warmth in the palm. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, gently move the palm away. Open your eyes slowly. Press the palms together. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. I will keep the recording online for the next 7 days, so you can actually practice this at your own pace multiple times till the next Sunday, where we meet again for the next series where we will be focusing on the kidneys and the urinary bladder meridian lines. So if you are interested to join us, remember to register your intention, because we are going to the month of June next month. So I hope to see you again next week. So namaste. Meanwhile, stay well.